Blood trickled down my forehead. Not a lot, just enough to blur my left eye and stain the collar of my shirt. The driver's side door was bent inward, jammed. Steam hissed from the hood. Airbags had already collapsed like useless lungs. My ribs were cracked. I could feel it when I breathed. They stood outside the car, all three of them, my wife and her sisters, arguing about time. Their salon appointment was in 30 minutes. I remember her voice, flat, annoyed. "You're fine, just bleeding." And her younger sister laughed. "God, stop being dramatic. We have priorities." Then they left, high heels clipping against asphalt, doors slamming, engine revving, taillights disappearing down the hill while I sat inside the wreck, bleeding, alone, forgotten, but not broken. Not yet. It didn't make sense at first. The crash wasn't even that bad, but they moved fast, cold, disconnected, no panic, no guilt, just impatience, like I was a speed bump in their schedule. Even in the ambulance, I replayed it, frame by frame. The moment we hit the curb, the sudden jerk of the wheel, my wife glancing at me, not in fear, but calculation, and her sisters in the back seat, unbothered, not even surprised. They knew something I didn't, something that made me disposable. When I got out of the hospital the next day, I walked back into a house that smelled like nothing had happened. Fresh flowers on the table, coffee brewing, but her eyes avoided mine. And I started seeing things I'd missed before. The late-night calls she took in the bathroom, the photos on her phone, cropped just enough to hide a second wine glass. Her laptop, always locked now, passwords changed, distance growing. Like she'd already left me, she just hadn't moved out yet. I didn't confront her, not yet. I just started collecting. Subtle things at first, location history, synced cloud storage, the duplicate key I made for her glove box. I paid attention to patterns, her routines, the men she spoke about too casually. One name kept showing up, Darren. Old friend, trainer, always texting. She once told me he was gay, but I found his socials. His bio read, father, husband, coach. No mention of gay. She had a burner phone, hidden in her closet inside a makeup bag. I waited until she was gone to her next sister's brunch. Unlocked it. Easy pattern. There were messages, photos, plans. Plans for a future that didn't include me. He's holding me back. Soon. After the accident. That last line, it stopped everything. After the accident. So it hadn't been a mistake. It was the signal. A test. See if I'd break. See if I'd fight. They left me in that wreck for a reason. They hoped I wouldn't come out of it. But I did. The insurance report came back. No mechanical failure, no brake issues. And yet, tire marks suggested someone yanked the wheel. Hard, sharp, too intentional. I showed the investigator the dashcam footage. It hadn't been wiped. There it was, her hand, not mine, pulling the wheel. Deliberate, focused. And then, her expression. Not fear, anticipation. I printed the frames, each one clearer than the last. I put them in a manila envelope, slid it into her purse before she left for her yoga class. I knew she'd find it. I also knew she'd try to lie. But I didn't need a confession. I already had everything. The texts, the footage, the motive, and something far more dangerous than rage. Control. That evening, I sat in the living room, fireplace lit, whiskey in hand. She entered quietly, eyes wide, pale, shaking just slightly. She held the envelope like it burned her. "It's not what it looks like," she whispered. I smiled, small, calculated. "It never is." She moved closer, but I held up a hand. There was a second envelope on the table. I tapped it. "That one goes to your sisters, with copies." She froze. "And the third's already been sent to Darren's wife." Her knees buckled slightly, not from pain, from exposure. "You don't want to do this," she whispered. I took a sip. But you did. She reached for my arm. I pulled back. You left me bleeding in that car, I said, calm, low, deadly. You thought that would be the end of me. She tried to speak, but I stood, walked past her. No slamming doors, no shouting, just the cold fact of what came next. Divorce papers, asset transfers, full confession, typed, notarized, with her signature already filed. She lost everything she tried to steal. Because I didn't fight fire with fire. I used silence, strategy, and proof. She moved out 3 days later, didn't even look at me, didn't cry, didn't beg. She knew begging was for people who still had options. Her sisters went quiet after the files hit their inboxes. The salon they skipped to that day? Closed now. Turns out, bad press travels fast when people know what kind of monsters are behind the desk. I still pass the crash site sometimes, still see the bloodstain in memory, still feel the metal folding around my ribs. But I don't feel pain anymore. Not regret, not love, just clarity. They thought bleeding made me weak, but pain isn't defeat, it's transformation. They had priorities. Now I do too, and none of them include mercy.